Gen Z has more potential than any generation before it, more access than ever imagined, more tools than any era in history, more information at your fingertips in seconds. You grew up connected, digitally fluent, aware of opportunities the world never used to see. You don't have to wait for permission anymore. You can learn anything online, build anything from a laptop, reach anyone across the world, and yet so many feel stuck. Not stuck because they lack intelligence, not stuck because they lack ambition, but because something subtle keeps holding them back. Small habits, invisible patterns repeated daily, habits that quietly drain focus, fragment attention, lower standards without you noticing, erode confidence in slow, almost invisible ways. Nothing dramatic, nothing obvious. No single mistake ruining everything. Just slow leakage of potential. Minutes wasted. Energy scattered. Goals postponed. And the dangerous part? Most don't even realize it's happening. They blame motivation. They blame the system. They blame timing. But rarely do they examine the habits shaping their future in silence. If Gen Z fixes just 5 of these habits, this generation won't just adapt to the future, it will shape it, control it, dominate it. Let's start with the first. Constant dopamine consumption. Your brain was not designed for endless stimulation, not for infinite scrolling, not for short videos that never end, not for notifications lighting up your screen every few minutes. And yet, this is the environment Gen Z grew up in. Short videos, notifications, instant entertainment, endless novelty. Every scroll gives you a small reward, a quick laugh, a new idea, a burst of distraction. It feels harmless, but neurologically, something deeper is happening. Each swipe releases dopamine, the chemical linked to motivation and reward. Over time, your brain begins to associate constant stimulation with comfort. It starts expecting quick hits of novelty, and when that becomes normal, everything slower begins to feel unbearable. Deep work feels boring. Studying feels painful. Reading more than 2 pages feels difficult. Long-term goals feel exhausting before you even begin. Not because you're incapable, but because your brain has been trained to prefer speed over depth. This is the silent cost of overstimulation. The more your brain adapts to rapid rewards, the harder it becomes to tolerate delayed gratification. And delayed gratification is the foundation of almost everything meaningful. Building skill, building wealth, building discipline, building identity. None of it feels exciting in the beginning. It feels repetitive, quiet, slow. But when your nervous system is conditioned for constant spikes, slowness feels like suffering, so you escape it. You check your phone, you open another tab, you postpone the hard task, and slowly your focus fragments. You're not lazy, you're overstimulated. There's a difference. Fixing this doesn't mean deleting every app or isolating yourself from the world. It means regaining control, setting intentional boundaries, scheduling when you consume instead of consuming by impulse, allowing yourself to be bored again, because boredom is not the enemy, it's the reset button. Attention is the new currency, and right now, most people are spending it on noise. The ones who learn to protect it will quietly build what others only talk about. Number 2, overthinking instead of executing. Gen Z consumes more advice than any generation before it. Productivity videos, business podcasts, self-improvement threads, morning routines, side hustle breakdowns. There is no shortage of information. You can learn how to build a business, improve your mindset, invest money, get fit, all within a few hours of scrolling, and yet so many remain stuck, not because they lack knowledge, but because knowledge without action creates tension. A quiet frustration. You know what you should do. You've watched the tutorials. You've saved the posts. You've made the plan, but you haven't started. Overthinking feels productive. It feels responsible. It feels like preparation. You tell yourself, I just need more clarity. I need the perfect strategy. I need to be fully ready. but often overthinking is fear in disguise. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of looking inexperienced. So instead of moving, you analyze. Instead of building, you research. Instead of testing, you wait. Psychologically, this creates an illusion of progress. Your brain rewards you for consuming information as if you've already done something meaningful, but nothing has changed in your reality. No skill improved, no project launched, no momentum created, and over time, the gap between what you know and what you do becomes heavier. You don't need perfect clarity to begin. You need motion. Clarity rarely comes from thinking longer. It comes from doing, from making mistakes, from adjusting, from learning in real time. Unstoppable people are not the smartest in the room. They are not the most prepared. They are the ones willing to move before certainty arrives. They start when it's uncomfortable, when it's imperfect, when it's unclear, because execution builds confidence, and confidence builds momentum. Waiting builds doubt. If you want to become unstoppable, reduce the time between decision and action. Think less. Move sooner. Because clarity is not found in thought alone. It is earned through motion. Number 3, comparing your timeline to everyone. Social media distorts reality. Not in obvious ways, but in subtle psychological ones. You open your phone and within seconds, you see someone your age buying a house, another launching a startup, another traveling the world full time, another announcing a promotion, and quietly something shifts inside you. You don't always feel jealous. You feel behind in money, behind in success, behind in clarity. But here's what your brain forgets in that moment. You are comparing your entire life to someone's edited highlights. You don't see their debt, their doubts, their family support, their failures, their second attempts. You see the outcome, and your mind fills in the gaps. Psychologically, comparison activates insecurity. It shifts your attention outward. Instead of focusing on your own process, your brain starts measuring your worth against someone else's pace. And when your focus shifts outward, momentum slows. Because instead of asking, what can I build today? What skill can I improve? What step can I take? You start asking, why am I not there yet? What's wrong with me? Am I falling behind? That shift is dangerous, not because ambition is bad, but because constant comparison creates pressure without context. Everyone's starting point is different. Resources are different. Responsibilities are different. Timing is different. But social media compresses all of that into a single image, and your brain interprets it as a race. Unstoppable people don't eliminate comparison entirely. They redirect it. They compete with yesterday's version of themselves, not strangers on a screen. They track progress internally, skill over status, growth over optics, consistency over speed. Because the truth is, success is not a synchronized event. It doesn't happen at the same age for everyone. It unfolds based on depth, repetition, and alignment. The moment you stop racing invisible timelines, you reclaim your focus. And focus, protected over time, becomes unstoppable. Number 4, avoiding discomfort. This might be the biggest one. The moment something feels hard, you want out, not dramatically, not consciously, just subtly. Bored during study, you switch apps. Workout feels tough, you skip the last set. Business slow, you start doubting the entire idea. Learning feels confusing. You question your ability. Discomfort shows up, and your instinct is escape. But discomfort is not danger. It's growth. Your brain is wired to conserve energy. It prefers what is familiar, predictable, and easy. The moment you enter unfamiliar territory, whether it's building a new skill, starting a project, or pushing your limits, your nervous system interprets it as a threat. Not because it is harmful, but because it is uncertain. And uncertainty feels uncomfortable. So your brain whispers, this isn't working. This isn't for you. Maybe try something easier. That resistance is normal. Everyone feels it. The difference is not who experiences discomfort, it's who stays inside it. Most people assume that discomfort means they are failing, but often discomfort means they are expanding. Muscle burns when it grows. Focus feels strained when it strengthens. Confidence feels fragile before it solidifies. If you train yourself to sit inside discomfort without immediately escaping, without numbing it with distraction, without quitting at the first sign of friction, you build mental endurance. And endurance compounds. The ability to stay when others leave, to persist when others pivot too quickly, to tolerate boredom long enough for mastery to form. Unstoppable people are not immune to discomfort. They are simply familiar with it. They understand that growth rarely feels glamorous in the beginning. It feels repetitive, awkward, slow. But the willingness to endure temporary discomfort separates short bursts of effort from long-term momentum. And momentum, sustained over time, becomes power. If you want to become unstoppable, stop asking, how do I avoid discomfort? Start asking, how long can I stay? Because growth lives just beyond the point most people quit. Number 5, waiting for motivation. This habit silently destroys potential. Not loudly, not dramatically, quietly. I'll start when I feel inspired. I just need to get in the right mood. I'll begin when I feel ready. It sounds reasonable, but inspiration is unstable. Some days it shows up, most days it doesn't. And when your progress depends on emotion, your progress becomes unpredictable. Motivation feels powerful in the moment. It gives you energy, clarity, momentum, but it is temporary. It rises and falls with sleep, stress, environment, even weather. If you wait to feel motivated before taking action, you hand control of your future to your mood, and moods are inconsistent. Discipline is different. It's not intense, it's not glamorous, it doesn't feel exciting, it's boring, repetitive, quiet. It's opening your laptop when you'd rather scroll, studying when you'd rather rest, training when you'd rather skip. It's showing up when you don't feel like it. Psychologically, this is where identity begins to shift. Every time you act despite low motivation, you send a signal to your brain, I am someone who follows through. And that signal builds self-trust. Self-trust builds confidence. Confidence builds momentum. Unstoppable people don't rely on emotion to determine action. They rely on identity. They decide who they are, disciplined, focused, consistent, and then they behave in alignment with that identity. They don't wake up excited every day. They wake up committed. The difference seems small, but over time it becomes massive because motivation creates bursts. Discipline creates compounding results. If you want to be unstoppable, stop asking, do I feel like it? Start asking, is this who I said I am? And then act accordingly, not because it feels good, but because it builds the person you're becoming. Let's be clear, Gen Z is not weak. It is overloaded, not incapable, not lacking intelligence, not lacking ambition, just distracted. Distracted by noise, by comparison, by constant stimulation, by habits that slowly chip away at focus and confidence. And the dangerous part is this. These habits don't look destructive. They look normal. Everyone scrolls. Everyone delays. Everyone compares. Everyone waits for motivation. That's what makes them powerful. But here's the shift. Fix these 5 habits, and everything begins to change. Not overnight, not dramatically. Gradually, your focus improves, your energy feels cleaner, your decisions become clearer, your confidence starts to build from action instead of hope. Momentum begins quietly, and once momentum starts, it feeds itself. Unstoppable doesn't mean perfect. It doesn't mean never failing. It doesn't mean constant intensity. It means consistent. It means showing up again tomorrow and the day after that. Consistency beats talent every time because talent without discipline fades, but discipline compounds. If this resonated with you, don't try to fix all 5 at once. Pick one habit, just one, and commit to working on it for the next 30 days. Not dramatically, not obsessively, deliberately. Because the future doesn't belong to the loudest generation, it belongs to the most disciplined one. If you want psychology without hype, If you want clarity without noise, subscribe to Mind Decks, just clarity. And clarity applied daily changes everything. I'll see you in the next one.